All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Waharakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Waharakak Wadash, which is indeed the Holy Spirit, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, to the overall elect, whom this truth is only for, and the gospel, right? So what I want to do is I want to get into a couple of things, and by the looks of it, this is going to be a pretty lengthy video, and Lord willing, at the end thereof, this was edifying. Although, what I'm going to be speaking about is stuff that the elder apostles and the bishops on down have been speaking about, primarily, end time things, such as, martial law being declared, concentration camps, you name it. All of these previous legislations we used to go into, these legislations can be active, when DJ Trump gets back into office, based on what's going on around. And, as well as he's even said as well that he's willing to tackle Iran because of Hamas and the likes and hostages. And so, we know when they talk about Hamas, they're talking about, a proxy group such as that, which is in relation to Iran, which is what they say anyway. But we know that Hamas is actually a group which has been created by, the enemy of Iran, so to speak, as well as everybody should know who that is. All right, without me going into detail on that. But yeah, so what I want to do is I want to get into this, man. So as you can see, I'm from the zerohedge.com. As this reads, as we will begin, all U.S. military bases enacts heightened security measures after T attacks. VOA Chief National Correspondent Steve Herman has released a new urgent security update from the Department of Defense, indicating that in response to the recent T attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas, and all U.S. military bases will implement heightened security measures. In response to a recent attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas, and the command of the U.S. Northern Command has directed all military installations to immediately implement heightened security measures. As you can see over here, all of this stuff written in this red, post over here. And there you go. So just to read a little bit more of this, let me read down here. So it reads, drivers should expect delays and random inspections at entry gates as we enhance the security posture of our installations to ensure our ability to project combat power when and where required. So let's go all the way down and let's see the different levels of which is what they have, the Homeland Security Advisory System. So they have severe, higher risk, elevated, which is significant risk of a T attack, guarded, general risk of T attacks. So where we're at right now in America is high, right? High risk of attacks, which is where they declared the level of security, which should be okay. And as I've already mentioned, I'm going to be going over stuff that we've spoke about in times past, like maybe a little over 10 years ago, and just bring all of this and tie this all together, man, because that's what's getting ready to be brought in, if things continue to go their way. And I'm talking about the elites on the left hand side, because we know that they want to get rid of the old world system, which is no longer working in their favor anymore, because they want much more and more power than they already have, and they'll be willing to sacrifice way more than what they have to get more. They'll be willing to sacrifice more lives and to bring more things into fruition destructively to, you know, do that, so to speak, because they're never satisfied. So as it is written in the book of Ezekiel 21 and verse 10, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. As a matter of fact, let me begin by reading verse 8 to read this correctly. Yeah, so as this reads, you know what? Oh, man. You know what? What I'm going to do is, a lot of this is good, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to read the seventh verse here. As this reads, it shall be when they say unto thee, wherefore sighest thou, that thou shalt answer for the tidings, because it cometh, and every heart shall melt, and all hands shall be feeble, and every spirit shall faint, and all knees shall be weak as water. Behold, it cometh, and shall be brought to pass, saith the Lord power, which we call him Yahweh in this case. Verse 8, again, the word of the Lord, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened, and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son, as of every tree, or as every tree. Right. And as we've been seeing past videos that's been going out on the YouTube, we could talk about how the Homeland Security has purchased 1.6 billion rounds of ammos. As this reads over here, for Homeland Security, it's time for a national conversation. All right, so this was re-updated on the 30th of June 2021, aired out on March 11, 2013, 8 a.m. And why so much bullets? Because we know, as we've already been bringing out throughout the years, that the time is going to come when the devil will unleash his horns on the people, and our people will greatly see and clearly see. Let me use that one and better. Will clearly see that the so-called white man, as we've been saying for the longest time, that they are the evil, the devil that the Bible speaks about. All right, and even Edomites are beginning to see that they are the devil. Okay, but on a grand scale, it's going to be seen worldwide that this man cannot be reckoned with when it comes to evil. Okay, he's going to bring all of the evil he can bring, because he knows he's at his last leg of holding himself together in terms of his power is concerned. All right, so he's going to give it all he got. So if this means that they got to cause confusion, as they've always been doing through these psyops, then that's what they're going to do. All right, and they've been training and training before the time came, gathering up bullets. I mean, we could talk about the Jadestown 15 program that's been had almost 10 years ago now. Some months, I think, what is it, from July? Since July at that time, they've been, declaring that program that would be had in places like Texas and all around the South. Okay. I mean, I don't really remember the other states, but I do remember primarily they begun doing the Jadestown program in Texas and other southern states. So that's just the best way I could put that. But like I said, as this is written, a sword is sharpened, and it is also furbished. So this devil has been training for years, preparing for that great death and that great destruction that they're going to bring upon the soils of America. Okay, and this is the reason why we are in the place that we're in today in this truth. This is why you have to repent unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because if you don't, then you're going to get caught in the crossfires, and you're going to get caught literally being put to death out here. All right, because that's what's coming down the pike. The angel of death is gonna intervene in this atmosphere, and he's going to be behind Esau getting down. Okay? Because they're looking to make a great slaughter, as this is written in verse 10. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter, and it is furbished that it may glitter, and should we then make mirth. And I haven't forgotten the Georgia Guidestones that they've destroyed to get rid of that information. But, it's in the memory of certain people. And I'm one of them, as it is said that they would like to maintain humanity on the 500 million, right? So that means they looking to get rid of 8.5 billion people on the face of the earth, okay, or something in relation to that. So they're looking to lay bodies down, all right. They're looking to take a lot of people out, and just to include as well, years ago, Alex Jones went to a particular camp, a concentration camp, and all they had was all of these containers that can fit 20 people, 20 dead bodies in those one containers. And they got concentration camps from like all around the United States, which can hold tens and thousands of people. All right, if I'm correct, it could hold tens of thousands of people, if not way more than what I'm saying it is. Okay, which makes sense because the population of America is about 330 something odd million people. All right, so there's like almost 1,000 of them bad boys that can hold a lot of people. Let's just put it that way, because I don't know the exact number. All right, so just to basically put it, man, before Esau goes out, he's looking to cause great death and destruction, so he can, according to his mind, get his own way back. But he ain't gonna get his way. He gonna lose. All right, he gonna lose literally everything. Okay, including his kingdom. So yeah, verse 11, and he had given it to be furbished that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And who is the ultimate slayer? The one whom was born with the blessing of the sword. And he's going to use his blessing to the utmost because he knows that he's going to lose absolutely everything. All right. Verse 12. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all of the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thighs, because it is a trial. And what if the sword contemn even the rod? It shall be no more, save the Lord. So all of this, which is going to come down, as we've been telling you throughout the years, is going to come upon the 2/3 of Israel. So the 2/3 of Israel, we're going to see them being brutally put to death, man. As it is written in the book of Zechariah 13:9, and I believe is in verse 10, if I'm correct. No, 13:8 to verse 9. It tells that 2/3 of Israel will be cut off. All right. So we're talking about a lot of our people. We're not talking about just here and there, a minute amount. We're talking about a great deal amount of our people that would be put out of their misery. Okay. By the hand of the devil himself. And the left hand of the Lord is going to have it so, which he is the left hand of the Lord. Romans, the 13th chapter, in verse 4. For he is the minister, meaning a servant of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. And half of y'all have been put to death, as we've seen. Our people have been put to death by the hands of the police. And, the police department is nothing more than the agents of Satan himself, which, they work for the corporation, which is basically influenced by the spiritual demon Shaitan, all right, which is the left-hand side of the Father. The Father is in control on both sides, as it is also written that he is the power of life and death, all right. He is the power of the good forces and as well as the evil forces, So nothing can escape the Most High, right? And I'm just putting it that way. But the thing of it is, the reason why people find themselves in situations that involves death and destruction simply because of their evil. All right. So when the going gets tough and you don't have Yahweh Shai with you, and you've known about Yahweh Shai, but you chose to disregard from the way, then guess what? You're gonna meet your maker the hard way. And it's gonna be through the wrath of the devil himself, whom you've basically become a servant unto instead of being a servant unto your power. All right? So there it is. So let me read this again. For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High. Just like, for example, read the story of Job. The story of Job tells you that. The first, what is it? The first chapter and the second chapter of the book of Job tells you that Satan was a son of God. So how much more Satan's agents, his physical counterparts, they're agents of the Lord as well, as it is also written, man's goings are of the Lord. And how can a man then understand his own way? Right? And as well as it's also written as well, that the king's heart is in the hand of the living power. All right. So whatever it be, a righteous king or wicked king, the Lord's hand is there. All right. In their hearts. So this evil king that we're under right now, he's going to show his raw power of evil. And the ones of us that are in Yahweh Shai, evil shall be overcome by the power of Yahweh Shai. All right. Who created it? Those that don't have Yahweh Shai, they're going to be consumed in the evil, by the wrath of the evil himself, the evil one, the devil that the Bible speaks about, aka the so-called white man, primarily these Amalekites, these JOOishes that really run the world. Okay, they're gonna be the ones administering death on a greater scale than you ain't never seen before. All right, a revenger to execute wrath upon them that do of evil. So the evildoers among our people, evil will meet them the same, as it is written also. For a man shall receive for the wrong that which he have done. All right. Colossians 3:25, I believe, if I'm correct. Galatians 6:7, for the Most High is not mocked. For whatever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So it's for us to reap in righteousness so that we can receive our righteous reward. All right. Wherefore ye must need be subject, not only for wrath, but also for consciousness' sake. So there you go. And that's why we got to repent. So now let's move forward and let's go into this over here from the word. This was from the word furbished. The Hebrew word is marat, and it means to bear, to polish, to make smooth or bold or bare. Which is the basically saying that it's like when you watch those Japanese samurais, right? Especially the swordsmiths. What did they do? The way that they furbish the sword, they put it through intense heat at a consistent basis as much as they can. And what that does is it makes the sword more polished and more durable. And then they beat the sword at the same time. All right. So what that means, just to shortly put it, is that Esau's been training throughout the years for that exact time and that exact moment, so that they can literally use the sword to bring violence on a massive scale. All right, that's what that just means. All of these forces. You want to talk about Blackwater, you want to talk about the Jade Helm 15 programs and stuff of that nature. These are all programs that have been put in place so that these forces can practice the violence that they're going to do to you. All right, because they planning on knocking a lot of people out, man, before they establish their new world order. All right, dark days are coming, and you're going to need the light to overcome the darkness. Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And I can't forget even what you have, what was called King Alfred plan, which wrote this down on how he could come and attack so-called black people and Hispanics at the same time that were in relation to these groups listed over here during those time periods from the late 60s to the 70s. Okay. So, I mean, I don't have to read all of this, but what you can do if you want, what I'll do is I'll put this on the description box and you can check this out for yourself. But what this pretty much goes into is how they're gonna round up so-called African Americans that are belonging to these groups that are enemy combative to the government, as they're gonna deem. All right. So that's all you gotta do. All you gotta do is type this in. Right, type this in and it actually break it down. Now I would go on Google because Google's gonna play difficult with you. So I would recommend you go on a different search outlet and check this out, and the real information will therefore be provided. But at the same time, what I'll do is I'll put this in the description box, the link of this, so you can read this for yourself. Okay, because this is gonna be a pretty lengthy video, and I don't want to go too lengthy with this. All right. So yeah, these devils, they plan on doing a lot before they establish fully their new world order system. They want to take a lot of niggas out, man, even their own people too. Isaiah 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. Absolutely, because they can't take all of us, can't they? All right. So they're going to come unto us like a flood. What does it mean that they're going to come in like a flood? All you got to do is go back and deal with the history of 70 AD. When you had those overflowing Roman armies which came and pursued Jerusalem, that was them coming onto Jerusalem like a flood. This is what they planning on doing. They planning on coming hard against the masses of our people, and just people in general with the amount of military power. Okay, especially those that have a identity which is contrary against the identity that the government has given them. So they want to knock these people out of the equation first, and then get the weak among us. But you see, they're not going to be able to get all of us, because the spirit of the Lord is going to be upon us, and that which will be that we will be endowed with spiritual power. All right. Now, it does read in the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, that some of us will be beheaded for the sake of the anointed. But it's also written too in this scripture that I just read here, that they're not going to take us all down, because some of us are going to be receiving that spiritual power. As it is also written that they shall be willing in the day of thy power, the day of the Lord's power. All right. Verse 20, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Lord. Right. So the Lord is going to redeem the elect. 21, as for me, this is my covenant. So if this is his covenant, this is his word that he will not break. Saith the Lord Yahweh, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seeds, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, save the Lord Yahweh, from henceforth and forever, which goes into the new covenant, which the laws will be implanted in our inward parts and will be biologically set up to do the Lord's commandments and his statutes. Okay, so now what I want to play a little bit of this video over here, and this guy breaks down. Now this guy had done 20 years being in the military, so he's going to give you the real breakdown on what they planning on doing. And this was what uploaded 9 years ago, and I remember we was touching on this around this same time period, around 2015 of July, I think it was. So let's play a little bit of this video.
They think they're going to be like big command control centers. There's going to be, or FEMA, temporary FEMA camps, temporary holding camps. Not happening. These Walmart stores are Walmart stores that 2012 Black Friday, they were picketing. And Walmart does not go with unions. They tried to bring a meat union a meat packing union into a Walmart a few years ago. They took all the meat, the meat packing windows and all out of every Walmart everywhere because Walmart will not be unionized. They're going to close these stores down. They're not doing it for plumbing. That's just an excuse they're using. Everybody knows that unless you're just witless. They'll close the stores down and they'll come back and open them up when they're ready, and they'll bring in new people who won't have big mouths according to them and cause problems for them. So forget about the Walmarts. Let's talk about reality. Let's talk about FEMA camps. First of all, again, I've seen it. I've got all kinds of contacts still. Here's how FEMA breaks down. There are FEMA camps spread out throughout the whole U.S. There are rail systems that lead to the FEMA camps to all the coasts and all the waterways everywhere. Anywhere you can imagine, rails are connected to the FEMA camps. There are military troops right now that have billets assigned to those FEMA camps. When they become activated, they will go there and they will fill those FEMA camps. Okay? There are coffins that will hold.
Key word, just in case you've missed it. He said that they're going to fill them camps.
10 to 20 people everywhere, staged all throughout the U.S. as well. There's enough to hold tens of millions of bodies.
So I stand corrected because I said tens of thousands. He said tens of millions. So we're talking about what, 600 to 800 concentration camps that's stationed in every state of America, right? Because again, just to mention, the population is pretty dense to what, 330 million people. So they need that amount of camps to hold the amount of people. All right. So this is the thing, man. Esau, when Esau really comes down with it, he ain't coming to play no games. And really, let's just take it a step higher. The Lord ain't playing no games. When the time is right, the Lord is gonna unleash living hell like you ain't never seen before. The left hand will be unleashed like you ain't never seen it before from the Lord himself. And it's gonna come down on the 2/3 of our own people. And yes, we will be tried, but guess what? The elect will overcome. All right? The elect are gonna overcome with good, with the power of good, which is through this truth.
They're out there. There are guillotines on the railway systems, guillotines inside the fences. And see the fences with barbed wire? If you put barbed wire on a fence, you want to have the barbed wire.
And he mentions that you're going to have guillotines. This is something that we've been telling y'all about. Okay, you're going to have guillotines, which is in relation to prophecy. Once again, let's get that in Revelations, the 20th chapter. See, everything that's about to be had, it's all been preordained to be had because it's been written in scripture. All right. It's all been written in scripture. So now what we want to do is we want to go and read Revelations 20. And verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls. So this is John the Revelator seeing in vision, seeing the souls, as it is written, them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with the anointed 1,000 years. All right, and it's going to be way more than 1,000 years. It's going to be for eternity. All right, so this is what's coming upon us. The ones of us will be tried even unto death, and we will have to be put to death, some of us. But like I said, they ain't going to take all of us. All right, so that's all I wanted to play in this video. So all of this stuff that this guy's talking about, and some of the stuff that I've pointed to you, it's all going to be had. It's all going to be happening. Let me use that term instead. It's all going to come to pass, and it's going to start happening. All right. It could very well be this year, and if not next year, we'll have to wait and see. Okay. But yeah, this guy's been in the military for 20 years, so he knows what he's talking about. And if he's still in the military now, he would have been in it for 30 plus years now. All right. So what I want to do is I want to talk about something else, about the UK government and corporate media, as this reads, blatant propaganda in an attempt to convince the public that digital IDs will benefit them. So as this reads, the UK government, led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, is intensifying its push for a digital identity system. With the launch of the Office for Digital Identities and Attributes and its Digital Identity and Attributes to Trust framework, the government and media are promoting digital identity as a convenient and efficient solution, with Tony Blair and other proponents touting its potential benefits, but ignoring concerns about privacy and potential risks. And they don't give a shit about your privacy. That's why they creating this for, to take away your privacy. Because if you got privacy, your privacy equals that you have a sense of power and freedom. They want to do away with all of that. Digital ID system could lead to increased surveillance, and that's what they want more of, and control, and is likely to be tied to central bank digital currencies, absolutely. And the digital ID is the foundation for the CBDCs, which would require a government-backed digital identity system. Okay? So the reason why they've been promoting this idea of the digital ID system, because this goes right in line with their last card. That's to put everybody under the mark of the beast system. This is what they've been planning for centuries. So they're going to sell it to you like it's a new thing. And to you, it's a new thing because you haven't really, a lot of people are not up on things where it concerns the powers that be, the elite, and them historically. They don't know. So to them, it's going to be something new out of this world. And it's going to woo the public, primarily, of course, the young people, right? And everybody's going to get down with the get down. But it's going to go from being something that's cool to being something that's going to be made mandatory for you to have. Especially if you're sick, especially if you're sick to the point where you can't work and you depend on income support of such. Everybody's going to have to take that mark. And that mark is going to have all of your data on it. Your medical data, your birth certificate data, every single data that you walk with on a day-to-day basis, or you drive on a day-to-day basis, is going to be on that mark. All right, that implantable device. It's going to be on there. So if you don't get that mark, then you're just a write-off from society. That's what you will be. Okay, and then you won't be able to do anything. And if not, they probably want to put you out of your misery because you didn't want to take that mark, just like it reads. All right, of those which will be beheaded because they didn't receive the mark of the beast. So, what I want to do is I want to go and read this over here, because really what the mainstream media outlets do is they allow politicians that were formerly in office before to speak on something of their agenda. And it's just really them giving you a sales pitch, right? Which the term sales pitch, a speech that you give in order to persuade someone to buy something. He's good at getting customers to listen to his sales pitch. And that's just what it is. It's a sales pitch. They got to sell you the idea that your privacy needs to be taken away. And we need to see what everybody's doing and what everybody's up to. And this is what they do. Okay? They cause these psychological operations to be had, as well as we had a couple of days ago, and many more which came before, to solidify the point that we need eyes on everything, and we need to look inside of you, and we need all access to your information, because you might be a T. All right? You might do something to cause mass hysteria. So what we need is for y'all to give away your freedoms, to give away your rights, to give away your privacy, just so that we know who you are. All right? And that's the main thing. They want to know who you are. They want to get inside of you to control you. That's the main goal. Esau wants to become a god over the lives of many as much as he can. Okay? And then he don't have to worry about resistance in the way. That's what this is all about. It ain't got nothing to do with T attacks. It's got every little thing to do with his main agenda at large. He wants to get into your head. So once he gets into your head, he can remotely control you and tell you what you can and you cannot do. All right? And he will be able to remotely control you. Okay? Because technology can go on and on and on. But you see, Esau ain't going to go that far anyway. Right? So, yeah, man. So I got into that already. And speaking about persuading someone, right, to buy into something, right? Guess what Tony Blair said? Tony Blair said months ago of last year, if I'm correct, okay, what we in? We're in January, right? Let me just guess the number. 9 months ago, he said that the UK will need a little persuading to embrace digital ID. Right? And it's not going to be just a little persuading. It's going to be a great deal of persuading. And what they're going to do is they're going to, do as they usually did, which works. They're going to go with these patsy programs, right? And throw this stuff in your face and say, oh, yeah, this happened and this Muslim did that and what have you, right? And that's going to put you in a state of panic and fear. When you're in that state of panic and fear, fight or flight mode, guess what you do? You do everything that it takes to get yourself away from that state of panic and fear. And you're going to do what you're told, just like they did to us in 2020. When they told the mass majority of us that, look, if you don't get the unauthorized dragon's jab or whatever you want to call it, got to be careful on that right there. You're gonna lose your opportunities to travel. Let me not use that term opportunities. Your privileges to travel and to do other stuff. You get fired from your job. You got to take care of your kids, right? You got to make sure that you good. Your wife is taken care of. Your children are taken care of. But not knowing that it was nothing more than an experiment. And people fell for the okie doke, which they would, because a lot of people are just plain old simple. All right? But you see us, the elect, back over here, even though we had these things, we knew that the devil was playing his tricks. Now the devil is going to begin to do the real thing. All right? Because what they also want to do is they want to lock down society for good until everybody is C-hipped, and then they can continue on with their New World Order agenda. All right? And it may not even be open up. The society may just continue to be in surveillance mode so that they can have full control over all of the living. All right? Psalms 10 and verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And that's all I need to read. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. That's the only thing you're going to get with this devil is deception. That's why this society is known as that red dragon, which is also known as the devil. The term devil means deceiver. All right. So let me read a little bit of more of this. I mean, I don't have to, but I'll do that instead. Psalms chapter 10 and verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. Right, they get together in having these secret councils. You want to talk about the Bilderberg meeting. All of these various councils they have. And what are they talking about? Changing trends to do what? To what you think to benefit the people? No, to make people's lives even worse for their own benefit. Instead, in the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. That's our people. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor, and when he draweth him into his net. And what is that net? That net is going to be that chip. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, the Most High forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. That's how they think. But the Lord is seeing every single thing that they're doing. As it is also written in the Apocrypha, that the eyes of the Lord are upon everything. Okay? And even in the book of Proverbs, it talks about that. All right? Arise, O Lord Yahweh, O power, lift up thine hand and forget not the humble. Right. What is the Lord going to do? The Lord is going to lift up his right hand, and that right hand is going to deliver. And the right hand of the Father in heaven is Yahushua, the one whom sits on the right hand of the Father. He will be released from his throne, okay, from his Father on that throne, and he's going to do violence. And then that would then bring the indignation of the Lord. That would then bring vengeance, as it is also written, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Okay? Arise, O Yahweh, O power, and lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Who is the humble? The elect, those that have bowed the knee to the will of the Lord. All right? Wherefore doeth the wicked contemn the Most High? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, and for thou beholdest the mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Absolutely. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Right. So we've committed ourselves unto him. How did we've done that? Let me read this again. Blah. Psalms 10 verse 14. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest the mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. And the poor committeth himself unto thee, and thou art the helper of the fatherless. Absolutely. So the Lord is going to help us because we've already bended the knee to his will, and we've committed unto him the work. All right? Break down the arm of the wicked. In other words, break the power of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out of his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord Yahweh is king forever and ever, and the heathen are perished out of his land. And they are in his land right now, claiming to be us. You see? So it was prophesied that they would come in their stead and rule in power and then be in the land. And the Lord is going to take them out of the position of power and out of the land. All right? And we're going to be stationed in the land. So there you go. Verse 17, Yahweh, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. What is our desire? Our desire is to get delivered out of here. And thou wilt prepare their heart. And he's done it already. He sent men and to show us the way, to prepare our hearts for what? To prepare our hearts to meet the Lord in the air. And that will cause thine ear to hear. And we've done that already. Okay? The Lord has caused our ears to hear. All right? To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. Right. So there you go. So when Esau comes out, we're going to oppress him. And he's going to be bound down. So that's all I got to say with this man. This devil is going to come having great wrath, and he's going to bring great death to his own people, primarily our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. And all of this wrath and anger that he's going to bring is going to come right upon his ass, as it is written, as I'm going to quote again. Let's get that in Colossians 3:25, because I want to get this correct as I bring this out the second time. Colossians 3:25, but he that doeth the wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done, and there is no respect of person. So there you go. The Lord is going to get this man for the wrongs that he has done. All right. So the Lord is going to allow him to bring great death, because we need a reset, man. I mean, Jake is bugged out. Jake is gone. I mean, it's so much so that words can't even explain how gone our people really are. All right. So this man is going to do what he's going to do. And after that's all said and done, the Lord is going to get rid of his ass and save some of their asses for slavery. All right. So that's what we talking about. That's the real reset now. We ain't talking about the reset that Klaus Schwab has in mind. We talking about the Lord's reset, which is which is going to be truly an activation. All right. So that's all we got on this right here. All hell's get ready to break loose once DJ Trump gets in office, man. As well as it was during the time of Nero, and it's going to be in this Rome. Okay? Like all of us in this truth, we already know what Nero did. What Nero did was he caused a great fire in Rome and blamed it on the Christians. Those that believed in the gospel that the Apostle Paul was spreading forth. And that gospel, which is the gospel, became so prominent that they had to put a stop to it, just so that they could prevent the going forth of the gospel that was being spreaded forth. All right. So the same thing will be had during Trump's tenure, as I believe. Somehow, some way, we don't know. Could it very well be this year? It's highly likely. If not, it's possibly going to be next year. I'm out. Shalom.